Hey there, it's Chris, and I'm so glad you're back. This is the last of 4 short videos about the P.L.A.Y framework. So we've talked about P, which is prototype. We've talked about L, which is leverage gamification. We talked about A, which is adopt mashups, or adapt mashups, depending how you like to say that word. And then Y is this video. Well, why is this video? Y stands for Yield and Use Neuroscience. And I want to talk about briefly what really happens at a lot of corporations. There'll be some new initiative, and you'll have a change management program, and most of that change management, incredibly well-intentioned, but what they're doing is, how can I push information at people and get them to comply? If we're really being honest, that's what it is. There's lots of PowerPoints, and we'll maybe do a project kickoff, and it's kind of a one-way thing, and we're missing the engagement and folks being fully into it, which is what we want. We want the whole team on board and jazzed about this thing and pushing it forward with their ideas and energy, right? Well, what we're sadly seeing is Gallup's done a recent poll that I quote a lot, talks about 33% employee engagement. So that means just a third of their time they're engaged in this thing. They're giving kind of a third effort, which is not a passing grade, right? You definitely want a passing grade. You want folks engaged. And so there's some slight tweaks here, and I want to talk through that. A lot of times when change is introduced, that pushes on part of our brain that frankly hates change. We have a very primitive programming language, or I like to call them best hits in our brain, that does not like change. That's our reticular activating system. And change is seen as a very primitive time thing here. Change is a threat. New things are a threat and require more energy, and more energy isn't bad because you have limited energy. Right? That's sort of the programming in the brain, and it will reject things that are new just because they're new, even if they're better, right? So you've got that going on both at an individual and a group level. The other thing is, very rarely are folks engaged in how can we make this successful together? It was someone else's idea and it's pushed on them, and we're surprised that they don't love it and adopt it and think it's the best thing ever. And maybe that the idea fails, right? So I'll be fair, it's tough to come up with those ideas. It's tough to pull those things through, and it's tough to go up against everyone's RAS. Here's one simple way you can do it. It's gonna sound counterintuitive, and I frankly hated it when I first heard it until I started using it. And then I got amazing results again and again and again. So it's empathy. And it's a particular variety of empathy. You're not feeling sorry for folks or anything else, but you're gonna hear them out. Hey, here's this new thing. What do you think about it? And they might say it sucks. And you're gonna say, great, tell me why it sucks. What about it sucks? Like, really get into it and hear them out. You don't have to agree with them. You're gonna have to let go of your ego a lot. This is their story. But it's important you validate, you get where they're coming from. Oh, I could see how that would be frustrating to you, or that doesn't make sense to you, or those things. You're validating where they're coming from. What you're doing then is you're kind of detangling that RAS and that fight, flight, freeze in them, and they're going to start to let their guard down a little bit and get up to their prefrontal cortex, where they have great ideas that they want to share to make this thing better. But until you get past that initial part and take the time to listen to them one-on-one and hear them out and validate their point of view, that it makes sense for them, you're not agreeing, you're validating their point of view, then you share, hey, totally get your point of view. We're trying to do this thing. What ideas do you have to get past this and move forward? Now, that takes some time and steps, and they might not have ideas right away, but you're building up their problem solving and ideation, and that energy, it takes off like wildfire once you build it up. They're gonna start to come out with your ideas and different ways to do things that you have not thought of. Now, all the weight is not on your shoulders as a leader. The team really has something they're running with. They're engaged, they're bought in, they want to meet the timelines and all those things. But until you do that empathy, which is based on neuroscience, 5 decades of it, it's not going to move forward. More command control, more do this or else, or punishment reward schemes done harder are not moving the dial forward. That's why there's 1.5 trillion of technology failures, because they're all looking at command control and work harder and do this thing, or just doing agile is a great approach. I love agile, but until you add this empathy, this why component of the P.L.A.Y and know their why, that's why I made it why, you will not move it forward as much. Now, it sounds like mumbo jumbo, and it might sound like soft stuff, and you want to be hard and serious and all that. I get it. I promise you, the hardwiring of the brain all works the same for all of us. We all have these sensations. They go to our brain stem. If that brain stem determines that a fight, flight, freeze, or even not interested, it's not moving forward. You're not going to get the engagement of the person. Then it goes to the limbic system, which is highly emotional, where lots of decisions are made. And then it goes to the part of the brain where you want your employees engaged. You want that collaboration and ideation and action and logic and all of those beautiful things in our cerebral cortex. But until you acknowledge where they're at around a thing and really take the time one-on-one to hear them out, which, by the way, doesn't take long. It sounds overwhelming, but a couple 20-minute sessions like this will make it way better. You will enjoy amazing successes. You will see people start to cover for each other. Hey, Chris, I know you're going to blow it in this meeting because this sets you off. Let me cover for you. All of these little, almost magical things start to happen. Now, again, you can use this just by itself. It's incredibly powerful. If you use all of these components in the P.L.A.Y framework together, you're going to enjoy projects that are on time or even early. You're going to enjoy innovations you didn't expect, and you and your team will have so much more fun at work. So, hope you enjoyed this series. If you're interested in how this can happen for you at your work, feel free to message below or reach out to me at Innovation Enabler on Instagram. Thanks so much. Here's to making play happen at your work, and here's to making work a better place to be. We'll see you later.